nurtured and cultivated the raw talents of the students in management, IT, education, and law, and has given the society the leaders and the stalwarts in their respective domains. Today, IPM has emerged as an epitome of world class education that ensures holistic development of the students through value based educational curriculum and experiential learning. In this journey of 29 years, IPM has achieved various milestones, one of such being accredited with A grade by National Assessment and Accreditation Council NAC. The benchmarks couldn't have been possible without a dream that was envisioned by our founder, Dr. B.S. Goel sir. He was a visionary who laid the foundation of the pillars of knowledge, wisdom, perseverance, and determination that provided a living and a learning environment for the students and faculty members to pursue their dreams. On behalf of the entire institute, we want to express our deepest gratitude for his exemplary leadership and vision. Sir's dedication to the betterment of the society and the institute at large serves as an inspiration for all of us. And I'm sure Sir would be witnessing this event from above, and his blessings will always be a guiding light for us. Let's move ahead with the program now.
It is my utmost honor to welcome and introduce our management members who are indeed backbone of this institute. Mr. Anupam Goel, Secretary, IPM Group of Institutions. Professor Dr. Sugandha Goel, Executive Director, IPM Group of Institutions. Colonel A.S. Malhotra, General Director, IPM Group of Institutions. And Dr. Geeti Sharma, Director, IPM Group of Institutions. Their unwavering commitment to academic excellence and institutional progress has been the driving force behind IPM's consistent achievements. With their sharp insights and leadership, they have ensured that IPM remains a hub of innovation, learning, and inspiration. Their unconditional support and guidance has fostered an environment that encourages creativity, collaboration, and excellence. We recently concluded the D1 of MIC 2025, which commenced with a spectacular and an insightful opening, setting a tone of intellectually enriching conference. With over 100 plus delegates presenting their research manuscripts across 8 specialized tracks, our esteemed session chairs for Day 1 at IPM Ghaziabad witnessed a remarkable confluence of innovative ideas, diverse research perspectives, and real world challenges. The discussions were not only inspiring, but also deeply thought provoking, fostering a meaningful dialogue and intellectual exchange. In today's dynamic landscape, the concept of sustainability holds an unparalleled significance, shaping the future of business, technology, and education. Sustainability is a multidimensional concept that ensures present generations can fulfill their needs without depleting the ability of future generations to do the same. In an age marked by climate change, resource depletion, and widening socio-economic disparities, the significance of sustainability cannot be overstated. Environmental sustainability emphasizes responsible resource management, reducing carbon footprints, and protecting biodiversity. Economic sustainability promotes long-term growth through ethical business practices, sustainable investments, and circular economies. Whereas sustainability ensures equity, inclusivity, and improved quality of life for all the communities. In the present era, where sustainability is not just an aspiration but an imperative, even IPM as an institute truly adheres with the ideology of the conference. And we have consistently cultivated a climate of sustainability within our campus through activities and initiatives like Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, social extension and welfare activities, that is Seva Cell, Environment Club, and NSS, to name a few. Today, on day 2 of MIC 2025, we bring together the brightest mind in business, technology, and education sector to engage in thought-provoking discussions, share pioneering research, and collaborating and to chart path towards a more responsible and inclusive future.
As we gather here today to explore new horizons and conceptualize research ideas, we must acknowledge that an event of this magnitude is not possible without the able guidance of a leader, Dr. Geeti Sharma, Director, IPM Group of Institutions, who has not only been a guiding light but also a driving force throughout this journey. Ma'am is an IFP certified professional bringing over 2 decades of distinguished experience in education industry. Her expertise spans from administration, teaching and learning, student management, and research and development, with a proven track record in steering institutions towards excellence. In, she is a recognized editor, reviewer, and an author of numerous journals of national and international repute. She has provided strategic directions ensuring effective implementation of policies and procedures. She is a member of the Academic International Business Committee, Michigan State University, USA, and a steering committee member of the Indian chapter of Daughters of Thelmus International Network of Women Business Scholars, Greece. She has been a torchbearer in the role of being patron of the conference. It is with immense pleasure and gratitude that I now invite Dr. Geeti Sharma, Director, IPM Group of Institutions and Conference Patron, to please deliver her inaugural address.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible to each one of you.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
All right. So, very good morning, everyone. And with a great privilege, I would like to welcome you all to the day 2 of the International Conference on Sustainable Future, a Global Convergence of Business, Technology, and Education. And we are really grateful to our partners, academic partners, Ariel University, Israel, Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad, the GMA, and Cyberpeace for collaborating with us in this conference. And we are really blessed and honored to have a distinguished panel of guests, not only yesterday in the physical format in the campus itself, but also, the guests who have joined us through online mode from different parts of the world. And I'm very glad to have with us Professor Emmanuel, School of Management and Leadership Management, University of Africa. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in from Africa. Professor Azhar Kazmi from King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. I think, thank you so much, sir, for joining in. And we still remember that we have grown up, studying the strategy book, which was none other than, I think the strategy was synonym of your name, and we have grown up reading all those books. So thank you so much for joining us today morning, and it really means a lot to all of us. Professor S.B. Goyal, Director of Information Technology, City University, Malaysia. Thank you. I'm really grateful to you for joining us. Professor Nidza Davidovich, Head Department of Education Studies, Ariel University, Israel, who have also collaborated with us in this conference. And I would also like to extend my warm welcome to all the esteemed session chairs, delegates, faculties, students who have joined us from all corners of the world. And I sincerely thank each one of you to make this event really a remarkable one. So talking about the theme of the conference, which talks about sustainable future, I think each one of us, holds that responsibility of taking initiatives and becoming a more responsible citizen to make world a better place, to make our initiatives really a sustainable one, and lay a good foundation of all the businesses, technologies, and education systems, not in the current platform, but also in the times to come. Since yesterday, we have been discussing that we are at crossroads where it is very, very important, yeah, that we bring down a synergy between businesses, between technology, between education, and we come out with ways where we can go up with these sustainable practices. Technology has already paved its way. We have been talking about AI, machine learning, and how gradually, AI is replacing people in various jobs. So, as businesses, I think we have to be mindful enough to understand that, yes, end of the day, artificial intelligence can never be above the human intelligence, and how we use that technology for better transformation in the industries, in education, in everywhere is going to be something which everybody has to think about and everybody has to practice. As in education system, I think how we run our systems, not merely making our students corporate ready, but also to sensitize them with respect to the environment, with respect to the climate change, with respect to the kind of restlessness which is going all across the world. My dear friends, all of us are witnessing climate change, we are witnessing trade wars, and a lot of restlessness all across the world. And I think all of us must join hands at this juncture and carve out ways through which we can lay down a very strong foundation of a future which is sustainable, not only for us as well as for our generations to come. And in this conference, we have taken this initiative and we have been discussing papers, we have been discussing researches, how that can be done with various innovative ways, with various researches which have come up since yesterday. And today also we will be witnessing various research papers which many of the research scholars, faculties, and students will be presenting from all across the globe. So I'm once again very grateful to everybody who has joined us, and I'm very happy with the response which we have received in the conference, not only from India but from all across the globe. Receiving more than 300 papers, and after a good review, a thorough review of the paper, we also released the conference proceedings yesterday, which was published by Bloomsbury. And we also have immense publication opportunities for all our researchers who have collaborated with us, who have sent their full manuscripts with us. So just, taking our step forward, we are just trying to take step forward to make world a better place. And I must tell everybody who has joined us online that IPM group of institution is a 30-year-old institute, and we are not only as an education in the field of education, we are trying to strengthen these systems every day, but at the same time, as an institute, we understand that we have a lot of responsibility towards the society as well. And as such, we have a very active seva cell in our institute, which works for the upliftment of the minorities. We come up with financial literacy programs, we have computer literacy programs, we sensitize people about cyber security, and various such initiatives are being taken under our very active Seva cell. So we are also trying our bit to see that how at least in and around the part of India where we are located, how we can make a change there. So once again, thank you everyone for joining, and I'm really grateful to each one of you. And I just wish that the day ahead is again full of lot of discussions. We discuss and we carve out a path for a better future. And I think it's not just a discussion which is going to happen. It is a collective responsibility of each one of us to bring it to action. And that's how the conferences become successful, when we not just focus on the discussions, but we also carve out path, so that how those things can be implemented. With those words, I congratulate the organizing committee, conveners, co-conveners, and everybody who has worked very hard for this conference. And I just wish you all the best. And again, I'm very thankful to all the speakers who have joined us. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with the conference theme and for briefing us with the day one and sharing your blessings with us. Your vision and dedication have set the perfect tone for the day ahead. Before we move ahead with the plenary sessions, I would request all the participants, delegates, session chairs, guests to please on their videos so that we can have a group photograph together and we can move ahead with the program. So I request everyone to please open up their video so that we can have a collective photograph together, a digital photograph. Just a few moment. The team is getting the screenshots done. Thank you so much. It is a privilege for IPM Ghaziabad to host MIC 2025, which is indeed a confluence of distinguished and eminent stalwarts from diverse fields of management, IT, and education. So, without further ado, let's set the screen open for our plenary address of the guests.
It is our pleasure to introduce our first esteemed speaker, Professor Emmanuel Awar, Professor, School of Management and Leadership, Management University of Africa. Professor Emmanuel is a professor in the School of Management and Leadership at Management University of Africa. He is the current Vice President in charge of Research, Education and Grants at the African Institute of Supply Chain Research and a senior partner at Deloitte Consultants, a research and consultancy firm based in Nairobi, Kenya. Professor Awar has previously served as the Academic Dean of Faculty, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Academic Research and Extension at Management University of Africa. He has published widely in peer-reviewed journals as well as made presentations at various local, regional, and international conferences. He has undertaken tasks for GIZ, Wellcome Trust UK, UNDP, Africa Resource Centre, and MasterCard Foundation, among others. Sir, we are privileged to have an eminent speaker like you with us today, and we request you to please share your valuable anecdotes with all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I'm audible enough. Just confirm if you can hear me. Okay, let me
Yes,
share
sir, you're
my.
clearly audible.
Okay. I I hope that let me put it in a presentation mode.
Yes, sir, we are just putting it in the presentation.
I also hope that my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So thanks once again, the session chair and colleagues and students and the organizing committee for this conference. It's a very sunny morning here in Nairobi, quite a nice morning. So I think it's good. I think you people, we are 2.5 hours behind India. So our sun is just coming up and it's quite a lovely day. So with regard to the theme of the conference, I think what I just wanted to share is look broadly at ESG and try to see what my country has done, what are the challenges, and maybe the way ahead. As the opening remark from the director was that sustainability has become a global challenge. And I think it's for all of us to take this initiative so that we leave the world a better place to the generations that are to come. And I think that's why the spirit of sustainability, the spirit of the circular economy, we need to embrace it, all of us. Now, my presentation is not really, is a very short presentation, but just to give you an insight about what others are doing and what others are thinking and what are the shortcomings, so that in such a forum like this, maybe through the discussions, we'll be able to identify maybe areas that we can improve on. So I'll try to give some practical examples about what's happening. Services, sustainable tourism, just very brief to give an insight into what we think about ESG. And I think at the end of the day, we'll see what are the opportunities that are available for even a country like Kenya. Now, I'm not going to belabor about these definitions because I think this is just common knowledge about what ESG is all about. But I think my concern is the fact that there is growing pressure on businesses globally to be able to adopt sustainable practices. And I think I said that in my opening remark that increasingly that is important because even as individuals, we are interested in ensuring that when we leave this earth, we leave it a better place than we found it. And there's no reason why we should destroy the ecosystem, why we should destroy what we found. We actually need to make it much better. That's really the essence of sustainability. And these days, the world circular economy is actually also here with us, just like other keywords. So that recognition by investors, by consumers, all through governments, lenders, funders, with regard to ESG is here with us. And I think as institutions, educational institutions, as business people, and just everybody, even the common man, you really have to think about sustainability. Even just from the smallest, like the home itself, in terms of how you manage your wastes, where do you take them? How do you dispose them of, those are all issues of sustainability. So sometimes we think of ESG from a very big corporate perspective, but I think we need to bring it down even to the household level in terms of how we manage our things within the household. What kind of wastes are we able to recycle, and what kind of wastes are we able to eliminate? So I think that's very important for all of us in this conference to think about. So in my country, we have what is called the Vision 2030, which basically tries to address sustainable economic development. And that is why all these other issues of sustainability comes in. And really it's because my country is very vulnerable to climate change, and that impacts on almost all the sectors. You talk of agriculture, you talk of water resources, you talk of biodiversity. So it's critical as I'm trying just to say it. So it's really important that we look at this in terms of maybe things like environmental management for the future. There are also issues to do with social factors, There's high poverty levels, and so there's also need for sustainable job creation, When we look at maybe the youth boom in a country like mine, where I think the tables are turned around and over 70% of the population are young people below 35 years of age. And so you're looking at issues of population boom, issues of unemployment, So one of the ways in terms of addressing such, again, is looking at sustainable job creation to address issues of income inequality, and generally improving social well-being. So sustainability and ESG goes beyond that. Now, I want just to give a brief in terms of the ESG landscape in my country. I've already mentioned a blueprint document that is called the Vision 2030. We are now in 2025, so which means this vision has only 5 years to come to an end. But then again, what has it achieved? How much has it achieved? What you'll realize is that there's so much to achieve. I think the vision has not even achieved a quarter of what it was meant to achieve. So again, those are the challenges. And again, there is what we call the Big Four agenda, looking at affordable housing, manufacturing, universal healthcare, food security, and all these, you see, are trying to address the ESG component. So that's just a brief about the ESG landscape in my country. So it's now businesses starting to, there are challenges, as we'll see when I move forward, but a lot of businesses are now trying to integrate ESG principles into their operations. And I alluded to this because it's increasingly being demanded by investors, being demanded by funders, being demanded by other institutions that uh, 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 institutions, businesses integrate ESG principles into the operation. And so we are getting to a point where it's now becoming increasingly important. Now, having given the landscape of ESG in my country, I just want to share a few examples. For example, in terms of number one, the concept of sustainable agriculture, which is very important. A country like mine, I think agricultural activities contribute to almost 80% of the GDP. And so it's an area that then has to be looked at very critically in terms of sustainability. So for example, I give an example of our tea sector and what an institutions like Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, is trying to do. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to embrace environmental friendly farming practices. And if you visit the tea estates, they're trying to look at things like water conservation. They're trying to look at things as waste management in the tea farming. And that's very critical. They've also tried to integrate social aspects such as fair wages and community developments for the tea farmers. So this is one thing that they're trying to do, community development, like putting up schools, roads and health facilities for the workers within the tea sectors. And that's some little things that they're trying to do towards embracing ESG. Now, the challenges here, for example, is that the importance of water management in tea growing is very critical. And again, there's problems in terms of opportunities in organic and certified sustainable agriculture exports. So these are the opportunities. Opportunities really exist in terms of a lot of traceability. Many of the buyers want to see what kind of environment do you grow your tea? How sustainable is the growth? Are you putting in the ESG principles? Is there equity in terms of your provision of salaries and things like that? So it's forcing organizations to adopt ESG because of such. For example, even another sector in agriculture that maybe I could give is in the floriculture industry. You see, again, increasingly the buyers of such commodities would want to question how was it grown, under what kind of environment. Did you use child labor, what kind of fertilizers did you use, So again, that then just forces some of these companies to adopt the ESG principles. So that's one example that I think I needed to share from my country. The other practical example is on renewable energy and solar power. And I would give an example of an organization called M-Copper. Now, this organization provides solar energy to off-grid rural areas. A large part of the country operates off-grid, doesn't have electricity. So much of what now is left is for them to invest in solar. And I think certain organizations have taken advantage of that and are really trying to penetrate the rural areas. And the way they do it is that you don't have to have all the money. Copper is a Swahili word for credit, So what they do is that they'll give you the solar power or the panels and all the solar system. And what you do is just to pay little amount, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, until you finish your payment. And usually I think they must be also in your country, they come in such a way that when you have not paid, then it switches off automatically. So you're forced to pay in terms of like get it active. So that's the way people cannot default. So this really has improved access to clean energy and so reduces a lot of dependence on kerosene lamps. In such rural areas where there's no electricity, many people use kerosene lamps, and you see kerosene lamps are sometimes very harmful in terms of the smoke and the fume. So this really has been an effort towards improving lives in the rural area, improving lives in the general part of the country. and really going a long way towards enhancing sustainability. Because even again, reduction in the use of kerosene would mean you are reducing dependence on fossil fuels and generally embracing renewable kind of energy. A lot of these solar panels, once they finish paying them, then they can now operate freely for as long as it takes. Of course, nothing lasts forever. There's often some maintenance to be done. Now, I'm alluding to the fact that 90% of Kenya's electricity is derived from renewable energy. And the reason for this, you can see, is that uh, very few people are on grid in terms of electricity. And that is why renewable sources is becoming very popular: wind, solar, and geothermal. And basically, the government has set ambitious targets to scale up renewable energy usage. And again, this is in line with what I talked earlier, the Vision 2030, to ensure that every household gets access to electricity and stop dependence on fossil fuels like kerosene lamps, which generally tends to be very harmful. I also want to give an example from sustainable financial services, a very practical example. And this is from what we call Commercial Bank of Africa, CBA. Now, Commercial Bank of Africa has developed financial products with a focus on sustainability, like what they call the green bonds. And this is used for funding renewable energy projects and eco-friendly housing. Now, the renewable bonds, the green bonds basically focuses on funding businesses that are embracing sustainability, that are embracing ESG. And that's how then they're able to propagate the sustainability principles tied up to financial services. Now, they also focus on inclusivity, offering financial products for marginalized communities through what is mobile banking. And I think, again, this is widespread. So again, the other thing is that there are very few people who are banked. I mean, like owning a bank account, like going to a bank like, let's say, Standard Chartered Bank or such kind of bank. A lot of people are unbanked. So again, provision of some of these fintech services in terms of mobile banking has also helped alleviate a lot of poverty, because very people who are initially could not access the bank can now get small credits to put into their businesses here and there. So the financial sector has become an enabler of sustainable businesses, practices, and projects in Kenya. And this really is a big deal. Remember, much of my talk is really even focusing on the small people, how ESG is going down to helping people who initially could not even afford a small credit from the bank. But again, you can see now certain institutions are trying to break this bond and going down to the lower people and ensuring that there's sustainability, ensuring that there's a reduction in poverty, ensuring that people can put food on their tables. Now, the other key area is sustainable tourism. Again, I just want to give a small example there. In my country, tourism is one of the top three earners of our income. A lot of our GDP is dependent on tourism. And for a long time, there are issues of sustainability of this sector, in terms of how can you make the communities that are living near the parks and near wild animals area be integrated and live together with the wild animals in harmony. It looks interesting, but that kind of integration is possible. And that is what certain sectors, drivers of the economy in this sector have done. I just gave an example here of the Serena hotels. And I've tried to say that the Serena hotels have tried to integrate environmental sustainability through energy saving initiatives, water conservation, waste management practices in their resorts, apart from engaging local communities in terms of preserving natural resources and promoting cultural heritage. So that the communities where these resorts are put, they're normally in the parks where wild animals are made to be integrated and be part and parcel of all these, so that there isn't this thing of seeing when you bring the resort within that kind of environment, it's going to displace them, it's going to interfere with maybe their grazing areas and things like that. So this is an initiative that many people in the tourism sector are adopting when they're putting up their resorts in the parks and in such kind of places. The other concept is the ecotourism. So again, the tourism sectors, which I said is actually one of the top 3 contributors of the GDP in this country, is actually embracing ecotourism by promoting wildlife conservation, responsible tourism, and community involvement. I think I've overemphasized on community involvement, and that's very important in terms of sustainability, so that the community do not see wild animals as an enemy, because when they see it as an enemy, then it means they're always trying to poach, they're always killing them, and that reduces the population of these animals. So that kind of sustainability is interesting because a lot of people fear wild animals, but it's possible to integrate wild animals with the community where they're living at and live in harmony. It looks interesting, but it's possible. And that's what some of these initiatives are doing. Now, I want also to give an example on governance and corporate responsibility from, again, a case study of one of our top telco companies known as Safaricom. Safaricom is a leading telecom company in my country, and they've really tried to embrace the ESG principles by focusing on ethical business practices, transparency, and accountability. Again, one very interesting, important thing about this company, and that's why I was giving it as a good example of ESG, is that they have a strong anti-corruption policies, and that really addresses issues of governance. And they have invested in sustainable development goals, with digital inclusion and education. So again, one of the sustainable goals is basically embracing digital education and digital technology. And this company really has taken that a notch higher in terms of embracing that. And they have even what they call an academy that really focuses on teaching and on embracing technology. So Safaricom and other companies are increasingly adopting voluntary ESG disclosures to improve transparency and accountability. I told you investors are becoming very critical in terms of your ESG practices. And so companies that are thriving and that are into maybe public-private partnerships really then need to show, and not just on paper, but to have proof and evidence that they're really embracing ESG activities. Now, it's not all glossy, as I said. I've just given you some top examples of organizations that are really trying to do a good job. As I said, it's far from over. The journey is still at the initial stages, and there are lots of challenges, as you can see. For example, some of the barriers to ESG adoption, I've talked about limited access to funding for small and medium-scale enterprises to adopt ESG strategies. And so some of these strategies, and that's really a challenge, right? So the other one is lack of awareness and education. And I think this is what can be dealt with. There are certain firms that still are not aware about ESG, what it's all about and what the businesses need to do. So that kind of lack of awareness needs really to be addressed. And such issues have to be put into fore through education so that they're made aware. Then there's also inconsistency in regulatory framework or enforcement for that matter. So again, this is an area that the government needs to come out very clearly and ensure, just like I said, most investors these days would want to see your ESG practices, and not just on paper, but to prove it, to give the evidence that some of these practices are really on board, As I told you, many in certain sectors like the agriculture, a lot of the countries that buy from us, like in floriculture, in tea sector, would really want to find out what are the ESG practices that you are putting into place. So that becomes a way of really forcing institutions to have no option but to adopt ESG. Now, there's also limited infrastructure for recycling, waste management, and clean energy. I think this is also an area that investors in recycling, investors in waste management, investors in clean energy have still an opportunity to invest in because there's a lot of limited infrastructure in that area, especially in waste management. I think that's an area that is still a big business opportunity, and not much has been done in that area. Again, the role of government in facilitating infrastructure development to support ESG practices. Yeah, I said the government also needs to come out very strongly to provide the necessary infrastructure to support ESG practices. But the biggest business opportunity that still exists is basically on waste management, on recycling, and on clean energy, because it's an area that not many people have focused on. And as you see, it is one of the critical areas if we are talking about ESG and we are talking about sustainability. So what are the opportunities for growth? Just a brief again. I've talked about public-private partnerships is an opportunity here for growth. So the need for collaboration between government, businesses, and civil societies to scale up ESG practices. That's an opportunity that exists, right? Again, there's opportunities for companies to leverage sustainability as a competitive advantage. How would they use sustainability principles as a competitive advantage? That opportunity still exists for organizations. The role of technology, again, is an opportunity, the potential for opportunity to enable ESG practices. I've just given you a slight example. We haven't reached even the era of AI here, So AI is just another big opportunity. But at a very basic level, I've talked about mobile phones and mobile phone apps and fintech, as an opportunity. I've given you examples how they're used to provide credit facilities to very local areas in terms of solar panels and solar power lighting and things like that. And even credit at very low levels, some credit facilities that other people might look at it as maybe an allowance for lunch. But you see, in certain communities, that is not an allowance for lunch. That is money that can be put in business and start a business. So certain organizations have looked at that opportunity and really focused on it. So, of course, issues of blockchain technology, I said, and AI is an advancement. I even can't say we have reached there, but those are the opportunities that exist. Now, youth engagement. I've just said that this country is top down, It's like 70% are young people, 35 years and below, and very few old people. So the engagement of the youth is important, As I said, we could be young like that and more youth, but still there's unemployment, There are no opportunities, and the universities keep churning out thousands of graduates every year. So what is it that can be done in terms of engaging the youth, in terms of having the youth as the leading advocates for sustainable businesses, in terms of helping the youth come up with initiatives on clean energy, on waste management, on social enterprises. Such are the opportunities that really the youth should be made to focus on and think of in terms of taking advantage of ESG to a higher level, as it were. So again, in summary, as I said, just like in India and globally, ESG is becoming increasingly relevant to sustainable development goals. And I've given you practical examples with the limited time that I have in agriculture, renewable energy, financial services, tourism, and governances as areas where just a uh, tiny stride has already been made. So there's still immense opportunity that needs to be made in this area. So yeah, despite these challenges, I said there are significant opportunities again for the country to take strides in the adoption of ESG principles. So again, my call for action is for businesses to integrate ESG into their practices for long-term success. We have no option here now because you can see the impact of climate change is here with us as well. There is declining water reservoirs, and that means that certain areas of farming in agriculture are threatened. And the only way we can do that is to think about sustainability in a much more focused way. So again, advocate for stronger support of ESG-focused initiatives from the government, businesses, and international partners. Again, that should be put on the forefront when dealing with any other businesses across the world. You should basically look at their ESG policies. I think just summing up, this is what sustainability can result. These are very rural areas, and you can see if we get sustainable, they can get their vegetables, and grown organically, and you don't have to depend on fertilizers. If you have water, that's it. And you can see they're old women, but they're happy faces because there's food. This is an example of solar panel being used to pump water in a very rural area, and you don't have to use the electric pumps or things like that. And you can see this is a very rural woman, and most likely she's bought this solar panel on credit through the M-Copper that I was talking about. So you could pay just a little amount for commitment, and then every month you're paying something small. As I said, the system is such that when you don't pay, then it locks out and it doesn't work. So you're forced to get something small. And you can see is a very rural woman, but she's happy watering her vegetables, and she'll get a good meal and she looks healthy. I think these are elements of sustainability from a very rural perspective. Again, this is wildlife, we have tourism. The picture is not clear, but this looks like wildebeests, wild beasts. And the idea, again, as I said, is to try to embrace ecotourism and try to make wildlife and people live in harmony. It looks strange because a lot of us fear wild animals. You fear that the elephant or the cheetah will attack you. But I think it's all about once they know that you're not there to kill them and you are there also to protect their lives, then they become friendly and they don't attack you. So that's what some companies are doing and trying to embrace what we call ecotourism, where you see the resort. Within the resort, you have animals even coming into the resort, like elephants, zebras. They just come in because they don't fear human beings. You're not there to kill them. And that's part of what sustainability is all about. So I think with that brief, I just want to, if there are any questions, I'll answer them later. But I hope I've succeeded in giving the ESG landscape from a Kenyan perspective, which basically helps us see where we fit into the global ESG debate. Thank you so much. And back to you, the chair of the session.
Thank you so much, sir, for conceptualizing ESG with such great examples from the practical initiatives in the Kenya. It is truly an undeniable fact that the policy on papers differs from the ground reality that happens due to implementation. So thank you for also highlighting the challenges and giving us solutions for the same. We really appreciate your views.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, moving ahead with the next session, we call upon the guest who doesn't need any introduction. He's none other than Professor Dr. Azhar Kazmi, author of the award-winning book Business Policy and Strategy Management, ex-visiting professor at King Khalid University of Petroleum and Minerals, Saudi Arabia. He is a distinguished academician and an author. He has received several awards, including the Escorts Delhi Management Association Award, Best Book in Management Award, Ishan Award for the Best Author in Management, and the Best Paper Award in the Indian Journal for Training and Development. Dr. Kazmi has a PhD in management from Kurukshetra University. He had held multiple academic and administrative positions, including dean and director for various renowned universities in India and Malaysia. He is also a member of editorial boards for 34 journals, a reviewer for 25 international journals, and a member of advisory board for 15 educational institutions. With expertise and extensive experience in supervising research, Sir has participated in various conferences, seminars, and workshops worldwide. Dr. Kazmi has also contributed as a resource person, speaker, and a trainer for various organizations, including academic institutions, industry associations, and defense services in India and abroad. He is a fellow of Salzburg Seminar, Austria, and a member of Professional Association in India, Malaysia, and the United States. So we request you to present your perspective on the theme, and we welcome you to the IPM family and to this inaugural session of MIC 2025. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Asta, for introducing me. And thanks to the IPM fraternity for inviting me, particularly Dr. Geeti Sharma, the director, Dr. Mona Sahai, who initially contacted me, and then Dr. Divya Singh, who has been in touch with me. Now, I will give a short presentation. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation. I'll be just speaking from a short note that I have made here. So, my presentation will be in three parts. One is my struggle with the theme of the conference, because it's such an interesting and challenging theme. Congratulations to the people who uh, came up with this theme. It's really a thought-provoking idea. Uh, so, being a plenary address, I thought I would, rather than take up a very specific thing, which of course could be very interesting, like we heard Professor Emmanuel talking on ESG in Kenya. So it could be an interesting thing, but I thought in a plenary it would be better if I take an overarching view of the theme that is there. You're already very thoughtfully covering the functional areas in the various sessions you have during the day. And I think you're also covering sectors like education, particularly, and also ESG in practice and so on. So it's quite a comprehensive coverage that you have here. And now, coming to the first part of my presentation about the theme of the conference, well, we are looking at sustainable future through the lens of global convergence. And we are looking at the three sectors, business, technology, and education. Now, these are very comprehensive areas, each one of them. When we look at sustainable future, we think of sustainable future in terms of the basic idea of sustainability, that we should leave the world in a situation, at least in a state that we found it to be, or at least better it could be, for the future generations. Uh, the idea of convergence, basically, I think historically, and it has been there more in the area of technology. convergence of technology. Like right now, we are communicating through means that have been enabled through convergence of technologies. So we have communication technology and information technology. I am using a laptop which is transmitting the messages through the communication technology to all the uh, 69 attendees, which are there, 68, apart from me. So, this idea of convergence is a powerful idea by itself. And when we look at in individual streams of technologies converging with other technologies, we see such a great variety of products and services that result from these basic ideas of convergences. Convergence is not a new idea, actually. It's quite an old idea and has been there in our consciousness for a long, long time. Now, apart from the convergence of technologies, you also have the idea of global convergence. And global convergence also has so many dimensions. Uh, like even in terms of the three sectors that we are focusing on, businesses has have seen convergence across the world in terms of like internationalization of trade, for example, or internationalization of business practices and management techniques, for example. And then we also have seen in terms of uh, we have technology and business. But of course, the major thing that we look at the global convergence is in terms of cultural convergence. So we have cultural convergence, and therefore we have for example, similarities in terms of taste on preferences for music, for example, or for movies and so on. So worldwide, we have a lot of convergence happening in the different areas of cultural products, and so on. Apart from the other things like even the dress, for example, the dress I'm wearing is certainly not an Indian dress. It's basically an English dress or a Western dress. So all these are the results of a global convergence that we experience day in and day out. When we look at these three sectors, of business, technology, and education, even taking two at a time, we see a lot of convergences happening. Like, say, for example, convergence of business and technology is quite a common phenomenon. And we see it in terms of uh, with the aim of increasing the efficiency, basically, and effectiveness, and also on the market side, like improving the customer experience and so on. So business and technology have converged in so many areas, like we have e-commerce, the application of e-commerce and AI, for example. Amazon using or Shopify and so on, so forth, so many e-commerce platforms uh, combining artificial intelligence with e-commerce and so on. Of course, then we have the examples of banking and fintech. Uh, like in the case of PayPal, uh, we see mobile payments, or uh, we have also started using artificial intelligence for fraud detection. This fraud, in fact, is becoming a major challenge, as we'll see. And then we have other areas like healthcare and digital tech and so on and so forth, like telemedicine or using artificial intelligence for diagnostics and so on. So this is the emerging area, and there are innumerable opportunities that we look at in terms of convergence of business and technology. We also have convergences in business and education, where basically we are aiming at more efficient delivery of educational products. I don't like to call it product, but anyway, It's quite a common term now. So we see educational institutions collaborating, using technology to improve learning or to provide personalized learning experiences. And in this context, we have many online learning platforms like Coursera and so on, and also corporate training and e-learning, and also applications of virtual reality and augmented reality in delivery of like virtual training or immersive training. In the area of if we're taking two by two, so when we look at education in technology, we have uh, many examples of technology transforming the learning process and the teaching process and so on. So we have AI powered tutoring, for example, now, where more personalized delivery of education can take place. Or smart classrooms are, of course, becoming quite common in institution. I'm sure IPEM also has smart classrooms. And then, of course, gamified learning, where we have a Duolingo or a product like these, where we have interactive education, uh, which can benefit all levels of education from primary, tertiary, and secondary, and so on. And of course, we have blockchain in education, where we can have secure, verifiable credentials, and so on. Uh, so, because all these are challenges, as we'll see. Uh, if we if we look at these two by two combinations, we have so many things that have come up, and I have just touched the surface of these. And if we take all the three configurations together, there'll be mind-boggling applications which we are there. So we are looking to a future full of opportunities. But, and this here I come to the second part of my presentation. When we look at these mind-boggling opportunities, there are also risks involved, and there are many pitfalls that I would like to talk about. I mentioned some of these pitfalls when I sat down thinking about the pitfalls. There are so many, but I just tried to focus on some major pitfalls that could be there. Now, one pitfall that I see at a very basic and fundamental level is the conflict in the differing goals and the differing emphases which is there in goals in these three sectors. Like business goals typically focus on efficiency and effectiveness and so on, and reaching the customers and doing marketing and so on and so forth. While in education we have generally a higher order objectives like learning or building personality and building character and so on, which are very different from the goals of business. And when we look at technology, we have typical objectives like again effectiveness, but also in terms of like innovation and so on. So this all these three sectors, which each of them is quite a I mean, mammoth sectors by themselves. Each of them have differing goals. So the paradigms that govern these three sectors are different, and therefore there is a high likelihood of misalignment of goals when we have convergence uh, or convergences between these three sectors. So we need to look at these very carefully and uh, try to be conscious of the risks which could be there. Naturally, when we look at these misaligned goals, we need to have mechanisms and thought processes that will help us to align these goals. So, like say, for example, whenever we take up a project of, even at the institutional level, like a business school like IPEM, if it takes up a project of a business and education, for example, uh, it could involve educators as well as businesses, tech developers, and so on to create shared objectives. So shared objectives will be very necessary whenever we think of convergences which could be there, Another thing which we would be looking at is balancing the typical business objectives like profitability with like ethical educational practices. And we need to guard against the tendency of over commercialization, which could be there. And that brings me to another great risk, which is there, over commercialization and the tendency for standardization. Uh, in my long experience in educational institutions in different parts of the world, one thing that has struck me as where we have increasingly used standardization, uh, in curricula, for example, or in offering courses, or now we are even coming up with micro credentials and so on. So there could be a lot of standardization which could be there. Of course, standardization increases the efficiency of delivery. And we successfully apply the convergence of business paradigms to education and thereby having effective, if not effective, at least efficient delivery, which could be there. So we need to guard against over standardization. And here we can also use technology for personalization of experiences in education, which could be there. So there is a lot of scope, and I would urge the students, particularly uh, in educational institutions like IPEM, and also young faculty members to look at the possibility of doing some researches into these areas as to how convergences can take place, and at the same time being aware of the risks which could be there in any convergence exercise that we undertake, and also how to uh, override or at least avoid those risks which could be there. Another area of concern that I visualize is accessibility and the digital divide. Like we saw in the case of what Professor Emmanuel was telling us about the applications of ESG principles in rural areas, like so we need to be aware of the limitations which could be there when we go for applications such as these. These bring in a lot of good results, which is very true, but we also become acutely aware of the accessibility challenges which are there and the digital divide which is there. Digital divide is yet to be bridged. We know that major part of the world, I think, I'm not sure about the figures, but at least I think majority of the world's population, it still doesn't have access to internet. So we need to be aware about the unequal access to technology, and this also widens the education gap which is there. And then, of course, we also have lack of internet accessibility, lack of devices, lack of finances to purchase those devices, and also literacy, digital literacy, and so on. So all these are challenges which have to be tackled as we go along. Then we have the ethical risks which are there. And this is a major area, and we see a lot of spams coming up, as we have seen technology coming in, as we have seen more and more applications of digitalization and so on. We have seen the emergence of scams, and recently in India also, this is becoming a major concern. And there is a public campaign going on. If I make a phone call, then a message is coming nowadays, which shows that the government and the authorities are also very conscious of the fact that this digitalization is leading us into risks, particularly certain sections of the population, especially senior citizens like me, for example, are more prone to risks of facing these scams and so on. So ethical risks are there and technological risks are also there. One clear thing that we have seen over the years is that rapid technological developments, they also bring in rapid obsolescence, and this makes the investments obsolete quickly. When one of the factors that people are now talking about in terms of the hype that is surrounding artificial intelligence is, and similar thing happened uh, a few decades back when we were trying to incorporate information technology into business, uh, over investments did take place in terms of high investments into software, for example, or hardware, and so on and so forth. The very fact that we have seen the emergence of cloud computing, the fact is that cloud computing came from the need because people felt that over investments are taking place, and in fact, the technology is becoming quite expensive to use. So this aspect needs to be taken into account. We also have, uh, as I mentioned earlier, also over commercialization and standardization. Now, and this is a real problem which we have. Like in India, if we take the example of our own country, we have seen uh, proliferation of education, especially professional education, be it medical education or management or business education or pharmacy education or architecture and so on and so forth. And lately we have seen a lot happening in information technology related education. We have seen a lot of commercialization taking place, and this has led to uh, a phenomenon which is not really welcome, profit driven education. Of course, there is a strong argument that private institutions can't run without finance, and finance is hard to come. Even the public institutions in our country, they are facing a resource crunch, So we have so many universities now. I think more than 1,100 universities, are touching 1,200 now in India. And let me tell you, this has been a very rapid proliferation of education in terms of sheer numbers of uh, educational institutions that have come up. So we have this real danger of uh, 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 over focusing on uh, profit-driven education and then reducing quality and learning uh, and having a negative impact on learning outcomes. So this is a very delicate balance that has to be maintained, and I'm sure the people who are managing or setting up, there is an interesting term, edupreneurs, educational entrepreneurs who have come up in large numbers and they have provided great service, uh, uh, to education. But at the same time, we must guard against the dangers of over commercialization and so on. So we need to balance commercial interests and personalization. So we need to clearly prioritize educational quality over profit by setting industry standards, or we need to encourage adaptive learning technologies to cater to diverse needs and so on. And of course, we need to always maintain human oversight, even in AI-driven learning to prevent biases. Just see what DeepSeek is doing. DeepSeek came up with a lot of hoopla, and then we saw that DeepSeek is also biased in certain areas, as we see. So we need to guard against such things. And then finally, the last point that I would like to talk about in terms of pitfalls in convergence is resistance, which is there. Resistance to change is a common phenomenon. And then the gaps which could be there, like industry gaps which are there. Now, traditional institutions, like an old and established university, for example, will always resist business-driven changes. So uh, this has to be seen very uh, carefully, because when these traditional institutions they resist change, that resistance is not negative always. So they are resisting. Like we see a phenomenon coming up, like more emphasis on skills, for example, or even entrepreneurship. I was surprised to see a university being named as Skills and Entrepreneurship University. Now, as to my mind, I think university and skills, for example, we if we limit the universities to skill, we are uh, trying to uh, hurt the very concept of universalization, which is the very core concept in university. Because universities aim at very higher order objectives which are there. So we need to be very careful. And even when we look at education and industry uh, combinations, or convergences, we need to be careful because there might be mismatches which could be there between educational and industry needs. Now, one thing that we are seeing is that there is always a clamor that our graduates are unprepared for the industry. But have you ever questioned the industry whether the industry is relatively unprepared to receive the graduates that are produced? So we need to look at these aspects which are there. And as we look at the immense possibilities which are there in terms of convergences in these three big sectors which are there, and of course, other sectors which could be there. Healthcare, for example, is another sector which could be there. So, as we look at these sectors and the convergences which are there, and the immense possibilities as we see, I am just just touched some surface which is there in my presentation. But as we know, there are immense possibilities, and there's much to be done, and these are exciting opportunities which are there. At the same time, we would need to guard against the risks which are there. And as we go along, we need to also look at how we can take measures to avoid these pitfalls which could be there. The result could be a better configuration of convergences which could be there. Otherwise, we may fall this side or that side, and we may not be able to fully take the benefit of these convergences. And that's how we can look at the sustainable future. Once again, Dr. Geeti and your team and all the organizers of the conference. A big congratulations to you and for coming up with this theme and for organizing this 2-day conference where I am surprised that you have a large number of papers. 300 is as an extremely good number which is there. So I now look forward to listening to Professor Goel and Professor Nidza also. And with this, I will end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us on our conference theme and the insights shared by you, especially on the global convergence part related to the business technology integration with education. And yes, once we are looking towards sustainability, we also need to look ahead to the pitfalls and the shortcomings that the concept of sustainability is bringing in all the three domains of management, education, and IT. So yes, there's the ESG and the sustainability team is still in the nascent stage, and we do agree that we need to look at the challenges that the concept is bringing, so that we are in a better position and we are into a better sustainability future phase to years to come. Thank you, sir, for gracing this plenary session, and we are honored to listen to you, to your experience and knowledge. Thank you so much, sir.
Moving ahead with the same momentum, we have Professor S.P. Goel, Director, Faculty of Information Technology, City University, Malaysia. Dr. Shyamdhari Goel has established himself as a prominent figure in the field of computer science and engineering. Holding a PhD from Banasthali University, Rajasthan, India, Dr. Goel has over 2 decades of extensive professional experience. His expertise spans across various academic and administrative roles, significantly contributing to integrating Industry Revolution 4.0 technologies such as big data science, artificial intelligence, blockchain into the curriculum of Malaysian University. An IEEE senior member since 2013, Dr. Goel's research interests are diverse and cutting edge. He holds 12 international patents and copyrights from Australia, Japan, Germany, and India, with his scholarly work being recognized in Scopus and SCI journals. Dr. Goel has an impressive record of publication with over 321 total publications, including Scopus and WOS Index journals, and has been actively engaged in speaking at prestigious events, including the World AI Show 2021. Dr. Goel is also an IBM Mastermind certified faculty since 2013 and is committed to creating a dynamic and a forward-thinking educational environment that meets and exceeds the global standard. Sir, we are privileged to have you with us today, and we can't wait to hear you sharing your views on our theme. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Asta. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Let me share my screen quickly. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes. It is.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Asta, for wonderful opportunity for me. And namaskar and good afternoon, good morning. Still, you have the good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here online today with all of you due to this digital technology. And special thanks to Prof. Ajay to setting the stage for me. It will be easy for me to continue my conversation. So congratulations for the wonderful initiative for this conference by IPM Management under the leadership of Dr. Geeti Sharma, Director of IPM, Ghaziabad, and thanks to Dr. Shalini Agarwal to inviting me for the plenary session opportunity for me. So fundamentally, our world is moving, changing fast, and India is a part of this big change. Classrooms are no longer in four walls. Today's students are clean learn from anywhere with digital technology, but this digital change comes with more responsibility in terms of technicality, in terms of environmental, in terms of social and economical aspects. So let me talk about these things today. Little bit I can share my views. So I have around 15 minutes to complete my conversation. So we need to make sure that the technology we create is not only the innovation, but also the sustainable and secureable future is there. Think for a moment, the students we teach today could invent new AI tools like ChatGPT or DeepSeek. They could create clean energy or bring educational to village through the digital platform. But for them to succeed, we need a strong and sustainable digital foundation, and it's our responsibility. We give it this platform to the next generation. So let's explore how we can build this future together. Like this is a digital world is there, everyone is connected, everyone is hyper connected, people is connected with people, things are connected with things. So people, things are connected to each other. Processes are increasing connected to network, creating new value and giving big impact to the future. We are doing lots of shopping online, lots of transaction, money transfer from one account to another account, all these things we are doing it. People are connected. There is a disbalancing is coming about social relationship. People are sitting together. They are watching the TVs, or they are doing the online transactions, or they are busy in their digital devices. So there is something called digital sustainability is required. Even old age people nowadays, 70, 80, 90 years persons are too much busy on internet. So take a moment to think about the term digital sustainability and think in your mind what image, technology, or idea pop up into your head. Think about some word or some concept. Immediately, it may be in the people thought is there is coming, eco-friendly technologies is there, or it may be something. We'll think about renewable energy, or we can think about sustainable practices. Then we can think about like how to explore digital sustainability in terms of renewable energy, eco-friendly environment point of view, or any type of digital tools. Like right now, I'm using this digital tool. So which pillar is the most critical for digital sustainability? As the audience, let us think, take a pause, and some can say environmental, someone will say social, and someone will say economical aspects. So this is not a one size fit because it depends on individual organization, individual objectives. Like my immediate speaker professor was saying that about this context is there is a disbalancing is coming. So we can think about environmental, economical, social aspects. What is the right thing? So which pillar is the most critical? What type of ranking we can give? What type of priority we can give on this? Like this diagram is indicating about all these have intersection aspect is there. Digital sustainability pillar, environmental, social, economical, and we do it prioritization as industry to industry. Like during COVID-19, we feel that people are too much disconnected with socially. So correspondingly, we need to identify what is my priorities is there. Whenever as an industry, we are launching any product is there, like we are launching any car vehicles is there. There is a concept we introduced like this is a petrol emission is there is a diesel emission or EV based. Future is not about future car is not about petrol diesel. Future is about EV car is there. And another 5 year future is not about EV car. Future is about is coming is called hydrogen based car is there. So correspondingly, we need to find out what is my priorities is there, what are the responsibilities. So power of connected future, we need to identify it. We need to see something is as a digital transformation in education context, we can identify it should be secure, sustainable, and innovative digital future in your education. When we are talking about the innovation, we need to about the need for creative and advanced background and solutions in the education is there. Sustainability, we need to identify the emphasizes the importance of eco-friendly and long-lasting impact. In terms of security point of view, highlight the uh, entire data thing is there. Data should be secure. Kids must be secure in the school and privacy must be secure. Whenever we are calling about power of connected future in terms of building the tomorrow's foundations. So sustainability digital future is depends on digital technology, innovations, and sustainability, security, and education perspective. Let's define in terms of our how to achieve digitally sustainable in education. What are the benefits, challenges is there? We need to think out and only that awareness we should be give in the society, then people will become self-responsible. They are aware about next generation. I appreciate that who have taken the birth in last 10 years, they are more responsible than us. And they are more aware and they are more logical. Always they ask why. If we justify their why, then correspondingly they take self-responsibility. So in terms of digital sustainability means technology in a way that does not harm future generations. It's our responsibility. We must balance progress with protecting the environment as well as maintaining a strong economy and making sure everyone benefited from the system. We also need to protect digital system from cyber attacks. Nowadays, like my immediate speakers were saying that whenever the people are doing the online transaction, they have some insecurity factor is there. So it may be either they are not getting the proper training and nowhere getting the proper awareness and people are hesitate to do it online transactions. Let us recall it during the COVID-19 pandemic, many students could continue learning through the online platforms and school closures should entirely shift to online platforms as the student access the online learning. And that point of view we are calling is about, but it was not without challenges. Some students face the cyber attacks during the online classes. Someone hacked their online account, someone hacked their emails because passwords are visible. They have shared the entire screen. People are not aware how to operate, how to do it. Others had no access to digital learning due to poor internet connections is there. So we have faced all these challenges. And the heavy use of digital platform in terms of every child in India and world, whether in village or Bihar or school in Bangalore, deserve the safe and sustainable learning. And this is our responsibility. Let's talk about why digital sustainability matters and what is the consequences if we ignore it. Technology is everywhere today, and we use it in education, healthcare, agriculture, business, um, fishing, everywhere in all industries. But we use it in, but we can see it, we do not use it properly. It could be cause big problems in terms of like something you can say it about student disruption, digital divide, and environmental damaging, and all of us facing because of consequences of the digital reliance. People are overusing the technology. When you're using the overuse of technologies there, then we should be ready for consequences. So there is a three pillar approaches there in digital consensus, digital sustainability, called as environmental pillar, economical, and social pillar aspects. When we are talking about these pillars aspect is there, then correspondingly, let us talk one by one. Environmental sustainability point of view, we can say it, data centers that power online activity use a lot of energy, like every country have established on data centers in terms of data science, and we do not switch to the green technology, this will harm the entire planet. Another side, we can say it, economical aspect is there, and social pillar point of view. So there is a thing is going on social pillar point of view, we can say it something like digital tool must reach everyone, including poor and rural economics. Another side, in terms of economical pillar point of view, we can say it sustainable business model and secure financial systems are important for long-term growth. But for example, Mars used blockchain to improve its supply chain and protect it from cyber attacks, as well as India's digital economy can benefit from similar technologies. So let us create an economy where businesses not only make profit, but also protect jobs and as well as innovations. Another side, we can say it in terms of environmental pillar, we need to green data center and devices that use less energy. So Google AI power data center have reduced the around 40% cutting down carbon emissions. So that's why people are moving in terms of Google AI power system. And we need to protect the environment. That is not an option. It is something we must do it for our children and their children, for upcoming generations. Here we are talking about emerging technology which enhance your digital technology. Whenever we calling is digital technology, immediate term is come in our mind is the zero trust security model. In this zero trust security model, we are talking about this model. No one is trusted automatically. It should be require some type of exercises, and every access request I can say is every access request is checked to prevent cyber attack before adapting. For examples, Google's Beyond Corp model. Google's Beyond Corp model is a secure sensitive system. It automatically secure your sensitive informations. So India schools can adopt this protect to student data. And when students know their data is safe, they can focus on learning without any fear factor. Another side, we can talk about blockchain. Model is there. So blockchain tech and technology can help to track carbon emission and ensure ethical practices. Here we can consider the example of IBM's blockchain system, which can monitor the food supply chain to make sure that they are sustainable. As well as we can see something in terms of blockchain technology can deliver the trust and transparencies. That's why blockchain technology become more popular. So these values are the foundation for the sustainable societies. Another side, we can say it about this AI technology point of view. So AI powered resource optimization technology, which can monitor and reduce your energy in terms of smart building as well as smart schools. Here we can consider the example of your AI technology. Siemens smart campus have reduced the electricity consumption while improving learning environment. So we need to, as a smart school, a smart university, we need to select the appropriate product in terms of digital sustainability. Rather than like LG is also providing the products for smart campuses, but they are not environmental friendly. Siemens have provided the smart camper which have reduced your electricity consumption while improving your learning environment. So overall, we can say it, imagine a future where every school in India is energy efficient, your house is efficient, we should save the money as well as invest it in your education. When we are talking about overcoming challenges to digital sustainability, so we know it that the digital sustainability is possible, but we need multiple and integration and cooperation is there. But we face challenges along the way is there cyber attacks. Here we require some commitment, collaboration, and responsible consumption, and sustainable stages is there. So there is a requirement about in the cyber attacks, high cost factor is there, infrastructure gaps is there. Let's talk about one by one. So here is we use it multi-sector approach is there. In multi-sector approach, there is a requirement is coming as about business processes, government policies, and education integrations point. Another side when we are calling is about cyber attacks. Chronicle pipeline cyber attack caused major fuel shortage and losses. That's why India's critical infrastructure must be protected with similar threats, infrastructure gaps. India needs more green data centers and secure IoT networks. When we are talking about high cost, the cost of switching to sustainable technology is too high, as well as the long-term saving benefits is required. So there is a scenario is going on about DeepSeek, and there is a chat GPT, how AI will feel help your educators. DeepSeek is recently launched by the China is a similar tool like chat GPT. So AI school, the AI tools in your education, where is a DeepSeek and chat GPT. DeepSeek is more popular in terms of access reliable information is there. And it can support for your teachers in rural areas. Another side, ChatGPT is more better to create personalized learning material and assist in lesson learning planning point of view. Ultimately, either DeepSeek or ChatGPT, they are empowering the uh, educators, education system, and we need to inspire your students is there. Another side, both side, DeepSeek and ChatGPT, they are the transforming the education with AI. And this is a warning to our teachers is there. As a education community, there is a warning is there. We need to enhance our rules. We need to enhance, take more responsibility, because whatever you are giving we are giving the teaching to students immediately, system is able to give the answer very quickly. So all these tools replace the teacher, but that's another good important thing is there is no digital replacement of the teacher is there. There is always emotional attachments and emotional take care. Mentorship is required. Doesn't matter how technology is developed. So in terms of finally, I can say is about in terms of the conclusion point of view, we must be building a thriving future through the digital sustainability. So digital sustainability is more than just technology. It is about creating a world where future generations can thrive. Other side, we can say it's whatever dreams you have for your students, whether it is to create clean energy, secure digital system, or improve rural education. These dreams are possible. In 2025, with AI tools like DeepSeeker or ChatGPT, and research innovations are easier than ever. If we are not producing more research in 2025, then hardly it is possible. If we do not act now, when will we? So this is a time to inspire the students to turn ideas into solutions. Let's work together to build a digital India, to build a digital world, and that is secure, inclusive, and sustainable. Let's create a legacy where future generation will say they gave us the tool to succeed. And in future is coming where we can hijack the mind of particular people. They don't have the interest is there. One side is a good thing, one side is a bad thing. When people is die and whatever you have the knowledge, everything we lose. If people lose in the age of 80, 90, people going to that, then correspondingly whatever his skills, we are losing. So there is a good thing. AI is entering in that area. We can hijack the particular person, and then correspondingly we can download everything, his memory, and then can be transferred to the next generation. So here, world is moving faster than ever. Only matter is there, are we ready? Are we take the responsibility to contribute for the next generation in terms of digital sustainability? So I'm available for any discussions, question answer sessions. Otherwise, let me hand over to the next session, the next speaker. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative and detailed presentation. Sustainability is a multidimensional concept and that has undergone the murky conceptual water after the advancement of technology. And digital sustainability is surely the way to go. Thank you, sir, for conceptualizing digital sustainability for us and for highlighting the power of a connected future, especially when India is boldly advertising the dream of being a digital economy and is on its path to achieve the same, your session will definitely provide a food for thought for all the researchers present here. Thank you so
Thank you. Thank you.
Education is the foundation upon which sustainability thrives. With this note, it is my honor to introduce our next guest for the day. Dr. Alexandra is a researcher in the education department at Ariel University, specializing in higher education, English language teaching methodology, history of education, and Holocaust. She relocated to Israel in 2022 and continues her academic work in international context. With research portfolio spanning over 80 scholarly publications, she explores innovative approaches to teacher training, emphasizing the role of English as a tool for academic and professional development. Her work also examines the impact of Holocaust education on collective memory and identity, contributing to discussions on historical awareness in higher education. An active participant in international academic collaboration, MAM engages in research on interdisciplinary teaching strategies and the integration of artificial intelligence in education. Through a dedication for advancing higher education and historical studies, Dr. Alexandra continues to shape her academic discourse of IPM Ghaziabad and MIC 2025. I welcome you to the inaugural session of MIC, and I would like you to address your views and opinion on the current theme. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, esteemed colleagues, distinguished speakers, and participants. It's a great honor and pleasure to welcome you at the second day of Multidisciplinary International Conference 2025 on Sustainable Future, a global convergence of business, technology, and education. So as we gather today for this second day of this conference, we recognize the crucial role of that education plays in shaping a sustainable and interconnected world. So education is not just a means of knowledge transmission, it's a powerful tool for transformation, fostering responsible global citizens who can address the challenges of our rapidly evolving world. So, on behalf of Ariel University, I extend my gratitude to all the speakers and participants for their dedication to this important matter. And now I'm sharing my screen and showing you my presentation. Okay, it can be seen, right? So I will present our study on lecturer profiles and its impact on students' digital habits in higher education. With the advancement of digital technologies in higher education, lecturers play a crucial role in shaping students' learning habits. Our study analyzes two different types of lecturers. So it's research-oriented lecturer and teaching-oriented lecturer, and their impact on active and passive digital learning. So we aim to understand which factors determine students' digital learning habits and how lecturers' profiles can influence active and passive learning. Additionally, we explored variables such as digital accessibility and students' academic abilities. As to research methodology, so our study is based on a survey of 342 university and college students. We employed statistical methods, including regression and factor analysis, to identify significant correlation between the lecturer profiles and the students' digital habits. Our findings indicate that research-oriented lecturers encourage active learning, while teacher-oriented lecturers reduce the likelihood of passive learning. Additionally, we found out that access to digital resources plays an important role in students' active learning engagement. So we found out that research-oriented lecturers inspire students to conduct their own independent research and develop critical thinking skills that become now very important to understand what is going on in different spheres of life and how the education itself can evolve on the basis of rapidly changing technologies. So we have found out that that critical thinking skills may be overwhelm them with the complex assignments. At the same time, teacher-oriented lecturers create accessible and structured courses, but engage students less in discussions. That is, to our mind, not very good situation because students should concentrate on what they are doing, on what they are learning, and on the result that they want to achieve. So, okay, where is my next slide? So, oh, no, sorry. Active digital learning includes participation in discussions and independent information search, whereas passive digital learning involves watching recorded lectures and studying on the background. We found out that students' preferences depend on the lecturer's profile and their personal learning experience. So as to the conclusions, our study highlights the importance of balanced structure material with interactive learning. To achieve this, lecturers should be trained in the use of digital tools, and universities should invest in digital infrastructures. So based on our findings, we recommend that universities should develop lecturer training programs, invest in digital infrastructure, and implement flexible teaching methods that cater to different learning styles. So thank you for attention. I look forward to answering any questions if you have any.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for throwing light on students' digital learning habits and highlighting the approaches of active and passive digital learnings, as well as lecturers' profile that affect student behavior. These factors definitely will help us in maintaining a balance and to procure a proper approach of teaching as well as learning. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your views.
Thank you.
As we draw this incredible inaugural invite Dr. Shashank Chaudhary, Dean Academics of IPEM Group of Institutions, to deliver the closing address. Dr. Chaudhary is a renowned academician and a leader whose unwavering commitment to education and academic excellence has been a source of inspiration for students and faculty alike. With his deep knowledge and passion Dr. Chaudhary has played a pivotal role in shaping the academic landscape at IPM. His thoughtful insights and inspiring words always leave a lasting impact, and we are privileged to have him conclude towards proceedings with this address. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shashank Chaudhary to deliver the closing address.
Sir is joining in a while. There's some technical glitch at sir's end, so he'll be joining in just few seconds.
A very warm good morning or good afternoon as per the time zone of different continents. This is my pleasure and pride to have the closing remarks regarding this inaugural session of day two of international conference. It's a pleasure and pride for IPM group institutions to have such luminaries of different domains that they have shared their words of wisdom with us regarding the very important topic that is sustainability. And in today's era, this topic has gained a lot of importance, particularly with reference to the tumultuous period we are facing at present. On one hand, we are having tremendous technological growth and professional avenues are opening up. Industries are going for modernization. We are having lean and agile manufacturing operating systems. But on the other hand, we are facing the burning issues of climate change, ecological disbalance, and social disruptions. So, what will be the social factors? What will be the environmental impacts? And what will be the corporate governance policies that will shape our future? And for that, sustainability is the key. We are really thankful to the eminent speakers of the innovation session from different continents all over the globe who have enlightened us about the topic of sustainability and share their words of wisdom with us. And we are hopeful that whatever the takeaways will be from this conference will be helpful to all of us, all the participants, all the session chairs, all the research presenters, that they will be not only talking about it, thinking about it, but they will also be implementing these takeaways in day-to-day life and achieving their professional and commercial objectives with sustainability and maintaining the right balance between all the different aspects of life at micro and macro level. With this, I again thank all the participants for all the speakers for their uh, inspirational thoughts and providing the insights related to sustainability. And we thank all the participants for making this conference and particularly the inaugural session a great success. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wise words and for highlighting the conference theme yet
With this, we officially open the day two of MIC 2025 for deep discussions, research presentations, and meaningful networking. The technical sessions will now commence as per track schedule and Zoom link shared in the program schedule. We encourage all delegates to engage, exchange ideas, and contribute to shaping a sustainable future. On behalf of IPM Ghaziabad, we thank our esteemed dignitaries, guests, speakers, and national and international participants, all faculty members for their presence and contribution. Let's make to remember. Wishing you all an intellectually stimulating and enriching experience ahead. Thank you. Link is shared in the chat box. We will be starting with the different tracks as per schedule. So we need to log in to those Zoom links to join the track sessions. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Yeah,
And now
thank you
we'll
so
be
much,
connecting.
Professor Kazmi, Professor Emmanuel, Professor S.B. Goyal, and faculty from Ariel University, Israel, for joining us. I also see Lakshmi ji from Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad, joining us. So everybody who is there in this session, I'm really grateful to all of you for joining this session. We also have with us Executive Director of IPM, Dr. Sugandha Goyal, with us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in, and everybody who has participated in this conference. Thank you once again. We can make an exit from the inaugural program, and the respective delegates can join with their respective Zoom links for the different tracks. Thank you so much, everyone.